One of the biggest hurdles to adapting from foster care for Christians is the lack of information and education in the church and even online about how to go about the process, which then leads to fear. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You are a Bible-believing Christian, you go to church every week, you really believe that God has called you to adoption specifically from foster care, and you've heard about foster care in your church maybe once in the past 3 years. And if you have heard something about foster care in your church, it's been to support a ministry that's doing great work in that area. You're looking online for information and feel confused about how to even begin the process. What I'm going to share with you today are the simple first 3 steps that you need to take to start your adoption from foster care, okay? These steps are gonna work for you if you've been researching for a while, trying to figure out how to do the process and you still feel stuck, or if you've called different agencies in your state and they've told you that they can't help you because they only help foster parents. I've been working in the adoption world as an adoption lawyer for close to a decade now, and I provide an unbiased, streamlined source of everything that Christian adoptive families need for a successful adoption. And I also personally guide them through the process based on my experience as an adoption lawyer helping hundreds of families through this. So if you're at the place right now where you know that God has called you to adopt from foster care and you're unsure about where to start, you're not sure where to find faith-filled information for your journey, I want you to comment below right now, I need help, okay? I'm going to dig deeper into what's keeping you stuck right now, but go ahead and comment below, I need help, and I will answer you in the comments. Before we get into the details, here are the 3 first steps that you need to take if you want to adopt from foster care as a Christian family, okay? The first one is to be fully confident that God has called you to this, okay? The second one is to start your adoption home study. And the third one is to look into the heart gallery in your state, all right? Let's start with the first step, which is being confident that God has called you to adoption from foster care. Last week, I talked about the importance of the church being involved in newborn adoption specifically because it's become a place for business and how we really need to look at it from God's heart, God's perspective, as it really should be, which is ministering to other families, okay? And so it's really important for you to be confident in what God has called you to do because adoption is the heart of God, but adoption is also complicated and adoption comes with so many things that if you don't feel confident that God has called you to it, it'll be very easy to get discouraged along the way. My husband and I are foster parents right now. And so even though there's been a lot of ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs emotionally, because we know God has called us. When we've prayed together as a couple, as a family, we know this is a family's calling. We know that we can weather through these storms and the ups and downs because of God's calling. So I believe for a Christian, especially when you believe that you've been called to adoption, it is so necessary for you to be so confident in that because that's going to be your anchor through the ups and downs of adoption. Comment below. Let me know if you truly feel called to adopt from foster care and it's something that the Lord has been speaking in your heart for a couple of years. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about step number 2, which is completing your adoption home study. Now, to adopt from foster care, meaning you're actually adopting a child who's already waiting to be adopted. That means that their parents' rights have already been terminated and they're now legally free for adoption, okay? That's the kind of adoption we're talking about in this video. So to do that, you still have to go through the process of becoming a licensed foster parent, even though you're not going to be fostering the children. That's just the way that the state has set it up for adoption from foster care, okay? So what you're gonna need to do is call an agency in your state who does foster care, who does adoption from foster care, and ask them to complete your home study. You've got to make sure that you're very, very clear that we are adopting from foster care. We don't want to just be foster parents, so we're asking for an adoption home study, okay? Make sure you're clear about that because otherwise what's going to happen is that they will complete your adoption to become a foster parent, which is not going to allow you to adopt, okay? A home study to foster and a home study to adopt from foster care are totally different. And that's one of the things that confuses people a lot and actually deters them from going through the process is not understanding that there's different types of home study. After your home study is complete, step number 3 is for you to actually browse through the heart gallery in your state and figure out, as you prayerfully consider, Lord, what child have you called for us to bring into our family? I believe that God is the greatest matchmaker when it comes to adoption, and he knows the child that needs your family. He knows the kind of parents that child needs to actually heal from trauma, heal from whatever has happened, and actually grow up in the Lord and become everything that God has purposed that child to be. And so I believe it's crucial that when you're looking at the heart gallery, that you take this in prayer and ask the Lord, which child, God, like which one are we to look into? Are we to adopt? One thing to keep in mind is that you don't have to only adopt from foster care in your state, even though it's definitely more convenient. You can absolutely look into heart galleries in other states as well. And I believe the Lord is faithful to bring the right child to you, and also to bring the right parents to that child. It's not always about, you, like God is bringing a child to you, but it's also God. The Bible says that God is the God who places the lonely in families, and he knows how to do this so well. So we've got to trust him in that process. Now, these 3 steps are the very, very first 3 steps that you need to take when you start your adoption from foster care, okay? And obviously there's so many more steps along the way to actually that child coming into your home, bonding with the child, and actually finalizing the adoption process. So if you are a Christian family, you are all in on adoption from foster care, and you're thinking, wow, I've gotten so much clarity in this video, I know what I need to do now, and you want to know what to do next, I want you to comment below, I want to know more, and I will answer you in the comments as well. All right, guys, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel to get more videos like this every week, and share this with your friends, and I will see you in the next video. All right, bye-bye.